Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this absolutely delicious, classic pavlova. This is one of my most favourite recipes that my grandma always used to make. It reminds me of summer, and I thought I've got to get this video in whilst this British summer is still here. If you miss any of the steps, then have a look in the description and I've got all the information there for you. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you know when my next video is being posted. Let's just get straight in and make this. The first thing you want to do is measure out a piece of baking parchment, roughly about 22 centimeters. You can find a plate and you can trace around that, cut it out and grease and put it down onto a baking tray. Time to separate the eggs. You can do this two ways. So you can crack the egg and put it into one dish, like so. Then what you can do is, using some clean hands, you can scoop out very, very carefully the egg yolk from the egg white and separate them that way. Or the other way that you can do is to crack your egg onto a hard surface. Then where it's cracked there, you get your two thumbs and you slowly, gently break open the shell. And then you have to gently let the egg white go, and then you can separate it that way. You always want to crack your egg on a hard work surface. You want to preheat your oven to 130 degrees Celsius fan or gas mark 2 or 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Leave the egg yolks to one side. That can make a really enriched scrambled egg, or you could turn it into some lemon curd. Tip your egg whites into a large mixing bowl. Make sure it is completely clean. I like to use a glass bowl, as you can see if there's any smears. You want to make sure it's clean, otherwise it is not going to whisk up properly. To make a perfect meringue, you also want to make sure that these whisks are completely clean too, otherwise they will not whisk properly. Using an electric hand whisk, you want to whisk this until it forms stiff peaks. If you get any egg yolk whatsoever in the white, the whites will not whisk up because of that fat that you get from the yolk. So you have to try it and do it all over again if you do get some yolk in. Otherwise, trust me, it won't work. How can you tell if your egg whites have formed stiff peaks? There are two ways that you can tell. The first way is that you can lift up your whisk and make a trail, and if it holds that shape, it is done. The other way, a bit more risky, but the fun way, is that you could get your bowl, put it over the top of your head, and if none of it comes out, then you know that it is perfect. You'll need 250 grams of caster sugar for this, and what you want to do is add it in a tablespoon at a time, whisking all of the time. Once you've whisked in all of the sugar, you then want to add in a teaspoon of cornflour, half a teaspoon of white wine vinegar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence or extract. Then just whisk this all together until it's all combined for roughly about 1 or 2 more minutes. Some of you might be thinking, why on earth would you add white wine vinegar to a sweet meringue? Well, what happens is that the acid, which is the vinegar, helps to denature or break down the amino acids in the egg white proteins. These amino acids will then become long strands, and when these strands are whisked together, they join together around the bubbles of the air to make a foam. Next thing you want to do is spoon on this lovely glossy meringue onto the baking parchment. Make sure that you get a nice even layer at the start. Now, if you really wanted to, you can pipe this on, but just for ease, and I like the rustic look, I'm just going to be spooning this on. Make sure that you spoon it out and that you leave the edge a little bit more higher than the center. You want to bake this for 1 hour in your preheated oven. Once it is cooked, you then want to turn off your oven and leave it to cool completely in the oven. Once you've let your pavlova cool in the oven, you want to prepare the fruit. So I'm just using 400 grams of strawberries that I cut in half and then half again to make these thin little slices. Then I'm going to be using 1 kiwi. So the way that I'm going to prepare this is I'm going to cut down one side to make a flat bottom. Put that down on the chopping board and it just makes it more firmer for me to chop. You then want to get your knife and make sure it's really sharp, and you want to go down the sides of the kiwi. You want to make sure that you get rid of all of the skin, so just smooth your knife along and make sure that there's none of the skin whatsoever. Next, you want to finish off with the top Put it onto the flat side so it doesn't slip as easy. And you just want to cut the skin off there, turn it round and cut again. And cut a nice slice down. You then want to just cut it into thin slices. So put it on a flat edge to stop it from moving. And just thinly slice your kiwi. Beautiful. Next thing you want to do is you want to pipe on your double cream. I have just whipped up 300 milliliters of double cream until firm. Put it into a piping bag with a star-shaped nozzle. And you just want to go round the outside. I know that it's a bit rocky here, but just keep going round the outside as best as you can and make lots of swirls. And then you want to use the remaining cream and go in the inside. If you don't have a piping bag, do not worry. You can always just spoon on the cream. Next thing, you want to get your fruit. And what I do is I'm going to start with the outside bits here, the bits that haven't got the middle white bit. And I'm just going to start placing those on top of the pavlova. So just the outside ones. And you want to start overlapping them on top of the cream. Once you've done the outside ring, you then want to get your kiwi and place this as a next layer. Next, you want to use the middle part of the strawberries, and then you just want to place these upright like so, and you want to make a fan shape. Using the last bits of the outer bits, you want to just place those into the middle. And there we have a classic pavlova decorated with strawberries and kiwis. I do recommend that you let it cool in the oven overnight. So this is something that you could do for your guests or for your family the night before, and then let it cool in the oven overnight, and it will be perfect for the next day. If you can't do that, then make sure you let it cool in the oven for as long as possible. Time to cut into this beauty. So hopefully what you want to look for is a nice crunchy almost outside, and then a gooey kind of soft middle. Wow, look at that.